But as an outsider, people think, oh, this person is an engineering manager or a director or a VP. This person might, he can write Mac from scratch. Like that's not how things work. Now is the time to understand how to use these tools to make better use of your time rather than fighting the tool itself.
Hi Pranjal, I'm Gargi. I head the marketing partnerships and the culture bit at LearnTube, and I'm very, very excited to talk to you today. I would love to know, a little about what you've been doing, and your career journey so far.
I started working in 2015 after graduating from IIT Kharagpur. My journey started with American Express, where I was in the risk management division, primarily building machine learning models, but back then it was called data analytics. And then it continued with Amazon, where I worked in the last mile team. Then I also got an opportunity to work outside India, so I joined Expedia with Hotels.com brand in the UK, where I was working in deep learning technologies like computer vision and natural language processing. And post that, I also sort of tried an entrepreneurial venture where I built a platform called Alpha Hub, which was basically a research platform, a no-code solution for data science and ML enthusiasts. Uh, didn't really work out well, so I was back after COVID to India, and currently I'm leading all ML and MLOps activities at Razorpay. I'm an engineering manager here, and I've completed about 2 years. I manage a team of 7 to 8 members in the org right now, and my responsibility is anything machine learning at Razorpay.
Cool. What's a common misconception about, like, say, an engineering manager or just having a career that you have? What's a common, like, say, when somebody reads you, they're like, oh, wow, like, such cool brands, also been also had, like, his own thing. So, what's a common misconception according to you?
I think when you grow in tech, the common misconception is you are the know-it-all person, right? Which is never the case, right? In fact, an engineering manager from 5 different places can have 5 extremely different set of skills, which has very little overlap. They will have some principal understanding across all of them, which needs to be there as an engineer. But the core skill set might be so different that they can't talk to each other. That can happen. But as an outsider, people think, oh, this person is an engineering manager or a director or a VP. This person might, he can write Mac from scratch. Like that's not how things work. People are usually very skilled in a very specific thing, and they're good at solving that problem. So I think that bit is a bit misunderstood. That we know it all. Nobody knows it all, and I don't think anybody can.
Great, awesome. In terms of AI and how overall misunderstood this whole AI will replace my job, what I want to talk to you about is what do you think the potential like global implication is of AI, and, like including its role in like global economics or sustainability and things like that.
Again, like that's a tough question, and of course, I have a very limited view of things. But
Yeah.
with whatever I know, I see a pattern, right? And I'll give you the pattern first. In like our history in general, right, things have happened in a very similar fashion. For example, we were farming with hand and doing things, and then came harvesters and the green revolution, and things would scale really well. So a lot of people were doing it by hand, got replaced by a simple harvester who could just do thousands of people job in a day, right? Same thing happened with a bunch of other technologies, right? So I'll give a very focused example, which probably you and others can relate with. Probably 15, 20 years ago in Excel, there was this thing called VBA. You can write some scripts and it will do, some sort of a magical trick and solve something for you. And then came this button called macro, right? You can just hit that macro button and do whatever you're doing and it will record that thing. And then if you have to repeat, you just go and hit that button, right? So that is the power of automation in general, right? Yeah. And it will touch us every 10 years in some shape and form, right? So I think AI is just a natural extension of this same phenomena, right? And nothing more than that. Now, the way I see the implications is exactly same, which is places and jobs where there is a decent amount of repetition and redundancy. It will be cost effective for businesses and countries and economies in general to reduce that cost, right? And that cost reduction will impact probably a lot of people. So the way I see it is, it's like now is the time to understand how to use these tools to make better use of your time rather than fighting the tool itself, right? So, for example, if you are sowing the seed and harvesting yourself, now is the time to get on that harvester and actually see can you do it 1000x better because others are saying they can, right? It's the same setup, and in terms of how it will impact the economy in general, I think countries which are investing heavily into creating sort of an AI first approach to everything in the long run. People are trying to find cures for cancer. People are already finding grains that can sustain harshness of the environment, right? That's happening because of AI. And Neuralink, which is Elon Musk company, they're trying to put chips in people's brain who are physically or mentally not that capable, right? It's literally impacting every start of life, but the first change will happen in places which are redundant, and that's going to continue. So it will change things for good, but it will definitely destabilize a lot of things at the start, and that has already started, right? So I think that destabilization is going to continue for a while until we see the silver lining, and then everybody starts on the what do you call the adoption curve of any new technology.
Great. Say, hypothetically, and we've spoken a little about LearnTube and what we do, and I would love to expose you more to what we're doing. But from what you understand and for what we're doing, say you had LearnTube in your life, right, when you were just starting up or at a very early stage in your career. What do you think would have panned out differently for you?
So it would have cost me less, and in terms of mental bandwidth, not money, it would have cost me less to find things where I can learn, right? So let's say there was just a couple of courses, and in that curriculum, there would be like one thing that I'm interested in, and then 10 things that I already know, but I can't find what I want to learn anyway, right? So that search was taxing. Right now, these sort of micro skills setup is super awesome, right? I can literally go and focus on something for a week or two, and then make sure that I have learned something, and then come out and also reflect on it by delivering something at work or in my personal project. So that would have been like a great booster in my career growth if I had something like LearnTube at the start.
What's the best piece of advice that you have received personally?
So I received this advice from one of my previous managers. He told me to again, like I live by it. He told me to focus on the value that you add and what you bring to the table, rather than constantly, doing X and negotiating for some return, and doing Y and negotiating for certain return, because this doesn't scale well. What scales well is, adding value and making sure that you follow it principally, so that you also upskill or train yourself to do that time and again, and that kind of starts spilling not just in your career but in your personal life as well, right? You become more rounded in terms of how you approach all facets of life. So I think that advice really stays with me, that understand what you bring to the table, and know or learn to add value wherever you are going. That should just take you places, I think.